I held off on making this one because I really thought it would be done by now. I did not think we'd get So, especially with how many big contract extensions we've seen over the past couple weeks, I held off on making this one because I really thought it would be done by now. I did not think we'd get to this point. I thought somebody would have budged by now, but here we are, and color me surprised that we're in training camp now and Jeremy Swayman is still unsigned. Now, this is far from the first RFA not coming to camp awaiting a new deal we've seen. We've seen this type of thing happen quite a bit, but this one certainly feels more intense. Yes, because of how messy it's gotten, but also just what's at stake here. How important number one is to the Bruins' success. I still don't believe we're going to get to a point here where Korpisalo has to hold down the fort for, at the most, more than a few games. But if that does end up being the case, that is big for a team that, especially after signing Zadorov, has aspirations of being pretty good.
It might be Allmark, but I
think
think
part of that operation.
no.
Now, of course, Don Sweeney had that pretty viral press conference from a couple.
Yeah, Swayman was straight away.
Hey, mean boy.
What you gonna do? What?
Days ago. I'm sure you've heard or seen it by now. He called the Spit and Chicklets podcast the Spit Up on Yourself podcast. He wasn't happy about what he deemed as inaccuracies in regards to the Swayman negotiation, which also added to the intensity of this situation. Some people are wondering if the Bruins are going to consider trading Swayman. Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts this morning poured some cold water on that. He mentioned that right now it's pretty much just a gap on an 8-year term between Swayman and the Bruins, and his impressions are that the Bruins don't want to and are not considering trading Swayman. By the time I put this out, maybe Swayman gets signed today. I know there's a gap, and clearly it's pretty big if we've gone this long without him signing, but I just don't see how this doesn't get resolved relatively soon. There's that December 1st deadline. If he doesn't sign by then, he can't play the season. But what a saga this has turned into. I mean, the Bruins put all their chips in on Swayman by trading Allmark, who won the Vezina the year prior. When they did that, it was like, okay, Swayman's clearly the number one guy. He already was through the playoffs anyways. It was clear where the Bruins' heads were at in net. Swayman's your clear number one, and Korpisalo's your backup. And it's still in all likelihood going to shake down that way, but man, you see how pretty risky it was to trade away Allmark before either getting the Swayman deal done or at least knowing that you were close. I don't think this team can afford to have a William Nylander 2018 situation.
Inside Maple Leafs.
Here where this gets dragged out to December, November. Yeah, maybe with a winger that's okay, but not with your clear number one goaltender that you just traded away a Vezina winning goalie to give the keys to. And some people in Boston are turning on him is the wrong word for it, but not super happy with Swayman right now. Felger and Maz on their show the other day called him a crybaby with delusions of grandeur. So there are some who are upset at Bruins management for how they handled this, maybe by trading Allmark too early and giving Swayman too much leverage, but there are also people not happy with Swayman here, and probably quite a few people who don't like how both sides went about this. It's just turned into a big mess, and I hope it gets resolved soon. Again, Swayman was a talking point all summer, but I didn't discuss it because I was like, okay, they're far apart right now in contract negotiations reportedly, but this is their number one guy who had a great playoff performance. They're rolling with him. This is going to be done before training camp, but now it's dragged for this long. It's become heightened, and the pressure's really on with this now. At first I was thinking, wait, this is kind of like the Halak-Price situation in 2010, except no, it's not, because Halak never won a Vezina with Montreal before they let him go. Price was an RFA that offseason like Swayman is now, and he went unsigned creeping up into September, but they got it done ahead of training camp. We'll see what happens with this. I'm certainly watching very closely. Still thinking Swayman's going to sign here, but Bruins fans, how are you feeling about this now that it's been going on for a few months? Where are you at with this, basically? Give me your thoughts as usual. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.
Okay.